I used to dream of becoming a music producer. My bedroom was a makeshift studio, and I was absolutely obsessed with beat making. And I was convinced this was the life path I was going to take. But in reality, the music industry, well, it wasn't quite what I expected. Let me explain. When I was in high school, it was my passion to make beats. My fascination with beat making had completely consumed my life. And my dream was to become a beat maker for local artists in my hometown, labels, and maybe even TV shows. But when I did graduate high school and tried pursuing beat making as a career, I didn't find the same love for it as I did when I was just a kid in my bedroom making beats for fun. There were lots of experiences that left a bad taste in my mouth, especially when it came to the traditional route of producing. But by far, what I disliked the most was how little say I as the producer had when it came to the distribution of my music and how my music would be distributed. If I sent out beats to an artist that I'd put a lot of work into and I thought sounded pretty great, there is no guarantee that that artist or other artists I sent it out to will feel anything from it or have a desire to necessarily sing or rap on the beat that I put that much time into. Especially if I had tried a little more experimental instrumentation. And even if they did think of something and did lay something down on the track, and let's say I liked the song, I liked how the song turned out, there was no guarantee it was going to come out right away. There were situations where I would send a beat, the artist would record on it, and it wouldn't come out till a full year later after I had originally made the beat. And there were one or two placements where, if I'm being completely honest, I thought what they put down on the beat kind of ruined it. And a beat that I was proud of kind of became a work of art I'd rather forget. I tried BeatStars as well, which for those of you who don't know is an e-commerce site where producers can sign up, put their beats online, and lease out those beats to people. And I actually did find some success in this area. But once again, this traditional route of producing kind of felt a little bland to me. If you want to be successful selling beats online, you have to emulate the sounds of the popular rappers of that time. And while it can feel like making generic trap beats is easy money, it's not very creatively fulfilling at all. Especially as someone who loves JPEG Mafia, Death Grips, Bring Me the Horizon, and more experimental bands and rappers, making a lot of these beats felt definitely more like a chore. I don't claim to be the best producer in the world, but I really wanted to experiment and push the boundaries of what people thought a hip-hop beat could be. And when you're making generic beats for the internet, honestly, you don't really get that feeling. But when I was feeling down, I found some producers online that were taking a completely different approach than the traditional one. Both as a creative outlet, they were doing something different, and as a monetization outlet, they were doing something different. These, of course, were the producers dropping videos on YouTube. From tutorials to vlogs, I was here for all of it. There were a couple producers who stood out to me in this genre. One was Aries, who went from making fun, kind of goofy production videos that were quite entertaining to eventually amassing millions of fans, dropping his own music, and becoming a super successful artist, to this day who still has over 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Kyle Beats is another standout, who started by selling beats just like I did, but later transferred to producer vlogs and amassed over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And of course, Nick Mira, who has worked with insanely influential artists, but still to this day has found a home on YouTube, where he still regularly posts. This was a huge inspiration for me. Here was an avenue for producers to make content and connect with other producers. I will always have a soft spot for working with artists, making beats for artists, making full songs. But this felt like something bigger, something different. Finally, people who were like me, who I could root for, learn from, and connect with other producers like me, who wanted to learn more about producing and wanted to see more behind the scenes of these people's lives. And here were these YouTubers, these producers, making the music they wanted to make. Not with a placement in mind necessarily, or to lease the beats online for a couple bucks, but just to share with the community that they had cultivated. So that's when I decided, why can't I do that? I had recently been experimenting with the Machine MK3, just like I have here at my desk, and was really obsessing about how great it was to make beats on this thing. And over the past year, I am honored to say that I've now amassed over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I'm so proud of the community we've managed to cultivate over this past year. This avenue has allowed me to create the music that I want to create, and has actually encouraged me to experiment more with my beat making, not just making the cookie cutter beats I used used to have to make to sell beats online. And this channel has helped me so much with staying inspired. But as many producers know, anytime a new medium for producers comes out, whether it's selling beats online or selling loop packs, older producers will often look down at this new medium for other producers to use to become successful. And this is where we get what I like to call the YouTube producer phenomenon. What the YouTube producer phenomenon is where producers will look down on other producers who focus less on getting placements and more about creating vlogs and tutorials on YouTube, making these beat makers just YouTube producers. But I want to name 3 reasons why becoming a YouTube producer was the best idea for me and might be the best idea for you. Number 1 is you have way more creative choices. What I've loved about posting these videos over the past year is the fact that it's not just me making beats alone in my room anymore. What I mean by that is I can make a beat, make some content around it, post it up, and get some immediate feedback. These beats don't need to be generic. They don't necessarily need to have a rapper or singer on top of them either. I can just feel free to express myself however I see fit. I love that about posting on YouTube. Complete creative freedom. I'm not worried about how this will sound on a placement, or if some rapper scrolling through BeatStars will like my beat enough to lease it for $30 or something. If I can think of a content idea behind this beat, I can post it. And while this might be a drawback to some producers who say, well, I don't necessarily want to be a content creator, I get exactly where you're coming from. But with me, I've always had a love for storytelling. I've had a passion for content creation. So it has definitely freed me up to be more creative when it comes to video storytelling and the beats I create. I can make experimental hip hop beats. I can whip out my guitar. I can use the Machine MK3 like I've done on so many videos. The choices I can make when I'm making beats are far more creative than when I was just trying to land placements and posting on BeatStars. Number 2 is you have more creative control of your own career. Like I said before, when I was trying to get placements in my hometown, I would have very little control of when that song came out. The artist would have to shoot promo. If there was a music video they wanted to shoot, I'd have to wait. Very little was in my control. It was all up to the artist. And that's the thing. When you're trying to land placements, once you've sent out those beats, the timeline really isn't up to you. And that artist might already have a couple songs lined up to drop, and yours is just another one in the queue. Same with BeatStars. Sure, there were a couple songs made with your beat, but nothing that really made an impact on the culture or anything. With creating your own videos, you have far more control. You can choose when the video comes out. You can make as many beats as you want and post videos around them. I've even seen a lot of YouTube music producers post their beats on Spotify and YouTube. Take Eldre the Giant. He doesn't produce for other people. He makes YouTube videos and posts his own beats and has amassed millions of fans doing it. He's not having to wait on artists. He's not just posting on BeatStars for no one. He's taken control and posted the beats when he wants to post them. Controlling your own career is so important. Don't leave it in someone else's hands. Point number 3 is you actually get to connect with other producers, not just artists. When I was trying to land placements and sell on BeatStars, it's not like I was really working with other producers. I know there are people that collab and such, but let's face it, you're mostly by yourself. And working with artists is not the same as working with other producers. You don't get to geek out over the gear you might have acquired, or talk about which DAW is your favorite, things other producers only would understand. Venus Theory is a great example of this. He's a producer on YouTube and he'll show the synthesizers he's liking, what plugins he likes to use, and you can scroll through the comments and find a wealth of knowledge on this stuff. And it went from feeling like a solo hobby to a network of people. And I know you can collaborate in the traditional sense, of course, but this just felt like an online community that was strong and that was rooting for each other. At the end of the day, there is no right answer for which direction you go and which way you choose. The traditional sense of landing placements, going the BeatStars route, selling beats online, or becoming a YouTube producer. But whatever way you go on your music production journey, just know that whatever route you choose, you should have fun with it. There are no right answers in this game, only right answers for you. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching my video. Please, I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe. See you next vid.